Cheers, Jan. You're a real lifesaver.
But didn't like one of our last podcasts say that everyone was saying it was leveling the playing field, and I said, well, no, because the Xbox One's still shit, and Sony have still got a price drop in their locker.
I'm glad you got that piece of self-fellatio out of the way before we started.
Yeah, it's got to be hard to be a fanboy today. What police force unveils unmarked tractor? Although I'm sorry, but this is clearly not an unmarked tractor. Guys, get on Twitter and see this.
No, I saw that earlier.
Who are they chasing down in their tractor, man?
There's your fucking outro.
But it's not unmarked. It is clearly marked. There's a fucking lights on it. They got lights and high vis on a tractor. Anyway,
those criminals better get a move on.
Oh my god.
Wales.
All right, with that one.
News is slow in Wales.
Oh god. Oh, I'm starting a podcast, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Please do.
What's up, people? Welcome to the GSC podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Lauchi. Joined this week, as always, by Jamie.
Oh my god, it's been forever. Hello.
Janny.
Yay!
And Johnny.
Yeah, hi again.
I don't think I've done that order yet. Did that fuck you up a bit? I hope it did.
Well, yeah. You have to stay on guard now. That's
you love it, man. This is the first podcast in a month.
What?
This is the actual comeback podcast after the 2 one-on-one sessions we did the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It's gonna feel good. Everyone's gonna have a good time, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gone.
And it's good. But it's been a month, so I hope you guys have played games, man. Johnny, do you wanna talk to me about some of the games you've been playing? I know you said you were playing Final Fantasy X last week.
Yes, started 10-2. Still on chapter 1. Hope to get a platinum on it. So
You
away with that.
You fucking platinumed Final Fantasy X, right?
Yeah, my first platinum.
Do you want to tell people what that involves? Because I was shocked today when I found out.
About 100 hours of grinding.
Oh my god.
Grinding as well. A 100-hour game.
Yeah.
Johnny's like, my course is finished. Time to fucking veg out now.
It really is.
That's a
so
waste of
true.
my life.
It's cool. Well, because it's on the Vita, I was like watching the football because the football was on. So I was watching football while I was grinding it out. So don't mention that.
Now I know you're lying.
So if any of you have played Final Fantasy X, you know what the spear grid leveling up system's like, right? Jamie, have you seen that? Yeah. Like when you level up, you have to move around this grid to unlock new abilities and stuff.
Oh, you fucking yeah. Let's just say
But there's quite a lot of that grid. Like that grid's fucking massive already, but there's a lot of spaces on that grid where there's nothing. To get 100%, you have to get items to put in every socket to completely fill up the grid. You did it, Johnny.
It's just a bit of grinding, really.
Blue
Yeah.
Bit of
Yeah.
grinding. No. A bit of grinding. 100 hours worth of grinding.
Well, no. The whole thing took me about 100 hours.
I didn't even get my 50-hour playtime achievement on Viva Pinata. I don't know how you do this sort of thing, man.
And that one's super easy. You just have to leave the console on, right?
No, it didn't work like that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because if a menu popped up, it would pause the game until you acknowledged them. The message.
But you used to be a proper gamer score horse, so why? I'd imagine you just like put an elastic band around it and ran into a wall for 5 hours, for like however long, right?
Did you just get one of those little like water bird things, like in The Simpsons, where it just constantly says yes?
Oh my god, I was watching that episode the other day. No, but also you'd have to have it plugged into your console as well, so that the battery didn't die. So it seemed to be a lot of effort.
It could be done. It could be done.
And plus, if
what
you
I'm
had the
saying.
original Xbox 360, it'd probably have more chance of red ringing in that time. So
See, we're talking like hyperbole bullshit right now, but John is hearing this and he's got this completionist mindset right now, and he's thinking, yeah, that's possible. I could do that.
Yeah, but Johnny's is skill based. That's the thing. Well, not so. Like,
No.
I guess skill based. I'm kind of maybe giving him a bit too much credit there, but it is like the time consumption there. You have to have
Yeah.
the patience for it. It isn't
That's
just
it.
like the perfect dark achievement of like. No, it was Darksiders. You have to go across the desert for like something like on your horse for 500 miles or something. I don't know. You just put two elastic bands to get the angle right.
Right.
yeah.
You did it. It's not like that, is it? This is actually some sort of skill.
I
Yeah,
remember that bullshit.
Yeah, I prefer like achievements where it's actually like beat like all the secret stuff, and like some sort of just like wasted trophies are out there which just do annoy me, like that, just like travel certain distances where it's not really fun to do.
Yeah.
But like doing like extra like challenges and side bosses, that's what I like, those sort of trophies. But yeah, no, it didn't take. It was fun. You guys did the achievement hunting on the Xbox, and you enjoyed it, right? You found
Yeah,
it
man.
fun? Getting
Not all the
1,000
time.
Gs on games.
Not all the time. Some of them weren't that satisfying. Forza 2,
Yeah.
or was it 3? One of them was the
But a
most
game
painful
that-
thing ever.
A game that you really liked, and you 10,000 G it, right? I know that. Well, Jamie used to. I know Jamie used to.
Stop calling me an achievement whore, man.
You were
Used to be.
achievement
You
whore.
were
Used
the
to be.
Achievement whore. Don't lie. Don't pretend you're something
Used
you're
to
not
be.
something you are.
Go through the list of the shit games that you 1,000 G.
Hannah Montana.
Hannah Montana, yeah.
I mean Miley Cyrus. What?
Oh god.
I definitely got rid of my Xbox to stop me from doing it.
The only game I ever 100%ed was Mass Effect 2. That's the only game I've...
Avatar.
Oh yeah, but that doesn't really count because that's like 5 minutes in a corner puffing air at people. Like...
That counts. That counts. Tell me it doesn't count. Punk ass bitch.
Johnny, what other games you been playing, man?
Bit of 10-2. I've said that already. I probably said that already.
Yeah.
Destiny. I don't know if you guys want to talk about it now or later.
Do it. Go on.
Do it.
Because it's only you and I.
Oh right, yeah, that's true. Okay, I'll be honest. When I first saw all the things for Destiny, all the the pre-release trailers and everything, I actually didn't think it looked that great. I just thought it's gonna be like Borderlands 2. I wasn't really impressed, but after having played the beta, it's shot like basically to number 1 on my most wanted games now for this year.
Yes.
I'm so impressed with it. It's obviously it's Bungie who made Halo. It's such a high quality game. Everything that's in it is just done basically flawlessly. I thought it just feels very responsive and fun. It looks absolutely amazing, and the progression system works out pretty well.
It just
So,
the stuff
yeah.
that I've been seeing for it. I haven't played any of the beta yet, despite Jamie hooking me up with a beta key the other day. Which thank you, Jamie, for that.
Yeah.
I'll check it out soon. But
No, I'll tell you what. You're a wasted cause, man. Do you know what? When you get the beta, right, they give you 3 codes. They're like, you can have a fire team now. So, like, here's a code for yourself and 2 friends. And I thought to myself, right, well, I'm around this weekend, and I know Janny's at, like, his truck festival thing, so he's going to be out drinking. And so that leaves you 2, right? So I thought, yeah, we'll have fun with this. This will be a great...
Yeah.
Ben hasn't even turned this PlayStation on.
this scorn, man. What was the first thing I said to you before the podcast? Are you around any time this week so we can play together? Like, I'm going to do it, man. We can all play together. It'll be fun.
Well, that sounds familiar. Yeah, it's quite. Yeah.
Look, we may have heard this before, but never mind. All right.
Yeah.
The thing that I was taking from the trailers and stuff is it looked like it played like Halo. So the movements and stuff looked quite Halo to me, but the aesthetics and stuff were very Mass Effect. Now that's just like hitting all the right buttons for me because those are like 2 of my favorite franchises. And then they said it was going to have all these MMO features and stuff. You guys have actually played that, so how much does it feel like a fusion between sort of Halo and Mass Effect?
Yeah, I agree with that, but I also got this like hint of Dark Souls in it because when you pick your missions and stuff, you see sort of like other players. They'll just like randomly come into your sort of world, and you see them doing their mission. It's the same mission that you're doing, but you can just do it together. It's all like seamless. It's just sometimes they're there. You don't see them all the time.
Is there friendly fire on?
No, I don't think so. I didn't really try to shoot them actually.
I think they're going to have some sort of PvP way of doing things when the game goes live properly. But I think at the moment it's just a case of being able to hook up with people in your little fire teams of 3 and taking down missions together. But yeah, like Johnny's saying though, you'll see other people doing their missions, and they might be taking on enemies a couple of levels up from you in the background as well. So you could just try and get some of your XP up quicker. Go over there and shoot up some of their bad guys.
That's pretty cool, man.
Mm. And like the story seems really interesting, and the music's amazing. I don't know if you've been playing with the sound up, Jamie.
Yeah, definitely. You have to turn it up full blast.
Yeah, very high quality. Yeah, it's very interesting and just fun to play. So,
What did they change Peter Dinklage's line to? Because they've made a big deal of like, we've taken that line out, for the beta.
he used to say like "Wizards on the Moon" or something.
That Wizards from the Moon, yeah. What did he change
Yeah.
it to? Is it just gone?
Yeah, well, because obviously I never played the alpha, and apparently they've like redone his voice and they've added like little some effects to it, so it sounds more like a
It's
robot.
still terrible.
Is it? I thought it was all right. I thought he sounds like a little robot. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
It's but then like the problem you've got is people just expect him to be great, I guess. But then Bill Nighy's in there as well doing some voice work, and
Was
like
it him?
His is actually good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no one's ever good all of the time, right? Like that guy from Game of Thrones. You know the guy who plays Littlefinger in Game of Thrones. You guys watch Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, the young Gary Oldman. Yeah.
Yeah. I see him. He's the villain in Shanghai Nights, and he's fucking terrible in that. But he's amazing in Game of Thrones. No one is infallible, man. Everyone has done some shit. So
I thought it was fine. I knew like in the alpha it was different. I think it was worse than that. But they've done some stuff. I thought it was all right.
This is so nostalgic. It's only been a month, but this is so nostalgic. I shouldn't even point it out, but Janny dropped there. For that entire thing, Janny was gone, right?
Perfect.
I thought he was just going to gloss over it. I was like, oh, okay, he's back in the room.
It's so nice to be back, man.
Seamless link.
Janny, since you're back, you can go next, man. Talk to me.
Yeah,
what have you been up to?
Before it drops, quick.
No, that was my bad. I hit Chrome again. Right, what have I been playing?
You've had a month, man. You've had the entire World Cup.
Yeah, not a lot. Right, okay. I've been playing Professor Layton and Miracle Mask, I think it's called.
Yep.
I may have already spoken about that before. Yeah, that's all right. I haven't played that in a while. Final Fantasy X.
Touch on the Professor Layton games, quick. People love the Professor Layton games. I fucking hate them.
What?
I'm not the only person in the world who like those games make me feel like a retard because I'm like, how stupid! You've used all of your clue coins. We're not helping you anymore. And I'm just like, well, fuck you then. I'm not playing you anymore. Like, do I just suck that bad? Are those games easy?
I think it's a game for mums and like old people, isn't it?
Oh, I'm the worst. I'm the worst.
No,
well,
I
Ben
understand.
lactates as well, so that's all right.
I come from to a certain degree, but because when I first played Professor Layton, I was pretty shit. But then I realised it's because I was running in head first, not bothering to think about the puzzle in any shape or form. And then if you do that, of course you're going to fail. So yeah, I think it's just you need to go. If you go back and play it, just take a little bit more time and actually think about what you're trying to do.
Baby steps, Ben. If you start with the hoops,
The
start watching the hoops, yeah. Then work your way up to like Sesame Street. Then Professor Layton, I think it'll be alright.
Oh, the hoops! I remember that show because it used to be on about 5 in the morning.
Indeed, it did.
Amazing. Oh, please, anybody who's listening, just YouTube the hoops, man. It's the most whacked out shit. Sorry, Johnny, carry on.
Nah, that's cool. Right. Apart from that, the big game, which I think Jamie's keen to talk about as well, is Valiant Hearts. I play. Huh?
Just tell me about this game because it looks amazing.
All I can say is you just have to play it. You pay the money. The money is worth it, and play it because I didn't really think because I got a bit pissed off because there was no demo or anything, and I couldn't be bothered to YouTube it. But then Jamie was saying on Twitter about how good it was and how like everyone should play it. I caved and I haven't regretted it. It's a beautiful game, and it's Ubisoft, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's the Montpellier studio who, because it's using the Ubi frame artwork of Rayman Legends and Child of Light, it's the same team behind those games.
Mm-hmm. So it's a fantastic little game. Oh my god! Like there's it is a puzzler. It's not a challenging game, but again, it's one of these. Take your time when you're playing it. Read everything about it. You learn so much about the First World War, and I think unless you do all that, you won't. if you just run through it, you probably won't appreciate it as much. And if you actually play it through and just pick everything up and read everything, sort of
So
thing.
the game as a whole, yeah, does it follow sort of like one single point of narrative, or from the trailers it makes it look like there's different scenes that show you sort of different windows into the error and stuff, or is it like one singular narrative all the way through?
It's based on letters sent back and forth during the war.
Oh wow,
So
really?
it's almost used those as an adaptive. It's I'll jump in a minute, Gianni. Sorry, there are a couple of characters that you play, so you do get a feel about stuff going on around the borders between, like France down to Belgium and Germany and so on. And there is stuff. Yeah, there's stuff really well spread out. You've got a few characters. It keeps it fresh all the way through that way. But it's such a heart-wrenching story as well. And it does hit you. It's powerful stuff.
Get any manly tears going from you two, hey?
All the manly tears, man.
Holding back the tears, and it just didn't work. It just did not work.
I tell you what, though, in a small little game like that, it really fucking showed Call of Duty how to put a dog in a game. Jesus Christ, did it?
Yeah. It sounds like we're taking a piss, but Jesus, the dog mechanic is great. I just absolutely loved it.
Call of Duty got shit on this dog, man.
Yeah.
It's got nothing on this dog.
Awesome.
But I'm glad I kind of, not to say I forced it on you, Gianni, because I think eventually you would have bought it, but I'm glad you've played it so early on now, because then I've got somebody I was able to talk to about it. Definitely.
Yeah. It's one of those games where I probably would have felt guilty had it come out on PlayStation Network and not paid a penny for it. Like a bit like when I finished Thomas Was Alone, and I thought, shit, I actually haven't. Well, all right, not directly, but it's that sort of feeling I had, and because it's quite a fresh game on the store as well, I actually felt quite satisfied that what I paid, so they all got what they deserved for it, and I actually enjoyed it, every moment of it. So I'd recommend it to anybody. It is really good, and it has a sort of variations. Like Jay, did you guys ever play The Lion King on the Mega Drive?
Yes,
of course I did.
Yes,
I love that game.
Yes.
Right. You know the taxi missions.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Just like the Stampede.
Yep.
In the Lion King game. Yeah.
Yep.
But it's set to like classical composition, isn't it? So it's set to real pieces of classical music.
Yep.
And everything that happens on screen is in time with the music. And they did something similar with the Rayman Legends. Like you had some speedrun levels that were set to like We Will Rock You and stuff like that. So they've done a very good job with that. So yeah.
Yeah. It's
beautiful.
It's a wonderful game. I mean, it's actually quite a complete game in my eyes. It's got a great art style. There was no bugs in it, which is, I mean, I know it's not the biggest of games, but it's always quite refreshing.
It's nice to see.
Especially from Ubisoft. There's a challenge in itself. Well-written storyline. There's a lot of interesting pickups. But it never feels too. The storyline gets a bit heavy, but you don't feel overwhelmed of anything else. Like, oh, there's all these collectibles. I'm gonna have to go back and. So it's good. I'd recommend that. Yeah.
I think even the QTEs don't feel overpowering, do they? They're there now and then.
Well, that's the other thing. It also keeps it quite. There's a lot of game mechanic that it introduces quite late on. Like the QTEs come on quite late on, but it never feels like it ever heavily relies on one than the other.
Yes, definitely.
Well
balanced game.
Well balanced.
A nutritious breakfast, Ben. Something like that.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about anymore. Gianni, you get up to anything else?
Just before I came on, I bought what's it called?
Danganronpa.
Danganronpa, that's it.
We'll get this down eventually.
So
Danganronpa style.
And unfortunately, I'm not around for 2 weeks, so I'm gonna have to let you guys know what it's like when I get back.
So is that your travel game? Is it?
Yes, that's the reason why I bought it.
For the purpose of the podcast, Gianni's actually been called up to the Italian military, so he's going to be away for a while.
No. All right. I'll come clean. Because of their poor showing in the World Cup, I've been called up to the football team. They're so desperate. Both. Well, Spain, Italy, You could choose any of them. But yeah, I'm not going to be around for 2 weeks again, like every year. So, but yeah, so I'll come back with hopefully a good report on it. Or
a nice moustache.
Yeah.
I just want to see Janny in a flannel shirt and denim jeans now with a big moustache. Just coming back from Italy like, you missed me, boys.
What about white linen trousers and flip-flops? And no shirt.
Oh, God. Oh, Jamie, what have you been up to?
Before it descends into chaos. I think we covered Destiny. I'm very happy with that. We'll talk about that a bit more in a minute as well. Yeah, like Johnny's saying, Valiant Hearts, very strong, very strong. That leaves me a little bit more room to talk about Guacamelee then. I know it's an old game and we'd already played it and spoken about it, but if you do own it from PS3 or Vita, upgrade it to the PS4 version. It's worth your time, and it's really cheap at the moment. I'm not sure how much longer that offer is going to be on for, but the upgrade is really cheap. At the moment, it's like £2.90 or something. And you get all the bonus content from this super turbocharged burrito edition, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
You get a couple of bonus missions in there, and I'll be honest with you, as you progress through the game and you get to those new areas, it's only when I'm like partway through that new section, I realized that it is a new section. I'm like, oh, that really gelled. That went together really well. So you're getting like new boss fights, new areas, and it all just clicks and it's not forced. So that was really nice. So awesome, get on it, play some of it. Like I say, we've already spoken heavily about Guacamelee on a couple of old podcasts. So
I enjoyed it.
Don't want to. Yeah, I remember Johnny was the one who got me interested in that one last year. Mm-hmm. So I won't dwell on it too much. But other than that, then really, I just want an opportunity to say to people like, what's your fucking problem with Transformers, right? I don't know if anybody else has seen the new one.
No, not yet.
I haven't yet. I've
been
had some friends watch it, and they didn't enjoy it either.
So, obviously it was going to be number one at the box office, and obviously it was going to make a lot of money, but that wasn't going to stop people complaining that it was crap. And that's pretty much how it works, isn't it? But I remember number 3 came out, and it deserved the bad comments. It deserved the bad reviews. It was a terrible film. Of the 3, it was definitely the worst, and they made a lot of changes for the worst. But this, I find a lot of the stuff that are getting the complaints are actually very strong points for the film. So I'm not going to spoil the film because I think people should watch it if you haven't. But
it's a Transformers film. There's not much to spoil. Let's be honest. People are going for the robot mayhem, not the story.
What did I read? I read somewhere somebody said they were going to go watch it, and then their friend complained, "Oh, why do you want to watch that shit?" And he said something like, "I just want to watch robots coming bullets out of the sky, man." Well, that was cool. But no, it is long, right? That's one thing that gets a lot of complaints. It is nearly 3 hours long. But so what? Lord of the Rings films are that long, and they don't need to be that long. But this film, it fits, and it kind of does need to be that long. And to give you the idea of the story, then it's set like 5 years after the events of number 3.
Okay. Did they give you any explanation as to where Sam Witwicky went?
No, they kind of leave him alone, but they move the story on really nicely.
Yeah.
In that there's now this like Black Ops unit trying to take down the Decepticons.
Is it Tyrese and that other action man from the other film?
No, not at all. No.
Also,
so it's set 5 years after the events of Chicago. There's like propaganda everywhere, and then there's posters everywhere saying if you see these aliens, like call us and we'll give you a cash reward and stuff like that. So the government are trying to bring in the Decepticons, but what it actually turns out is Kelsey Grammer's trying to take down all of them. Like, so he's just like trying to wipe them all out, but he wasn't telling the president that he's taken out the Autobots as well. But everyone's in hiding until Mark Wahlberg comes along and finds Optimus, and that's where we go from. But I mean, like I said, complaints are about the length of the film. They shouldn't be. It flows. It's exactly how long it needs to be. The story doesn't at any point feel like it's trying to span itself out for the sake of it.
Yeah.
From the acting complaints, I'm happy with everyone apart from his daughter. I think she was a terrible actress in this.
Oh, and who is surprised there? Because that is the chick from The Last Airbender.
It is, yeah, Nicola Peltz or something.
Shout out to her for getting hot, because she got hot. But if anyone was expecting her to act, man, after seeing The Last Airbender, then they were just kidding themselves, man.
You might have to cut that bit. I think she's still like 17 or something, man. I don't know, but she didn't get hot anyway, so maybe you do have to cut that bit.
What? I ain't cutting shit, man. Our opinions are our own. There you go. Fuck you.
But it's a great cast otherwise. Like Mark Wahlberg, he does what he does. Kelsey Grammer does what he does. Stanley Tucci's actually all right. He camped it up a little bit in a way for like some like head of a corporation thing, but he's really strong as well. And I enjoyed it. I think for the young guns that go, they might start getting a bit bored 2/3 of the way through, but then that final act has the Dinobots in it, so it draws their attention back in.
Do they give a legit reason why sort of Grimlock and that are there?
Yeah.
They do, yeah?
Everything's explained. It, again, no spoilers, but it will take the Transformers universe into a new direction that they haven't been before in any of the animated series, whatever films before, anything. This will go off in a new direction. So it is a new way for Transformers. It's a risky one, but if it pays off, then yeah, it's worth it. I might have to spoil it for you off podcast.
That's fine, you can do that. I don't care about spoilers. I'm one of those guys.
And the other thing then, I don't know if we spoke about it on podcast or one-on-one or something, but we were talking about the How to Train Your Dragon film recently, Ben, right? You've only just seen the first one.
I literally caught it on TV the other day, yeah.
Yeah, like we saw the new one of that as well. And I was telling you how that first film just kind of felt perfect for what it was.
Yeah.
It was the first time I enjoyed watching a film in 3D at the cinema.
Yeah.
That was good. But it was also the first time I really enjoyed a DreamWorks animation because I can't stand Shrek.
Yeah.
At all. So it was the first time I got into that. But I kind of felt it was a new way for DreamWorks. They were starting to build up a better portfolio of films. But the new one, no discredit to the first one, I say this, but the new one is 10 times better.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Just the concept itself, I was a fan of. Right. Most companies and stuff, they've got a popular property, they'll pump out a sequel, but they won't change anything. The first thing you notice in like How to Train Your Dragon 2 is that everyone's aged. They've fucking jumped. They've time skipped.
Yeah. Well,
they didn't have to do that, but it gives it a really nice sense of progression going into a new film, having that happen.
The first film I think was April 2010. So we've been 4 years without it, but I think the actual time gap is explained in the film to be about 5 years. I think like Hiccup's about 20 in this now. Yeah, I think something like that, because they do talk about marriage and stuff like that, like arranged marriages and stuff. But yeah, it definitely skips at least 5 years in film timeline. But catch it, that was manly tears. That was a lot of love and a lot of...
I want to see that big time.
Yeah, definitely. And like...
It's based on the books. I don't know if anyone knew that, but yeah.
Yes, yeah. I think there's about 6 or 7 books in the series.
There's loads, yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of them doesn't even have dragons in the title. There's something else. I can't remember now. I'll have to have a look. But I think I've got the first one.
It's really good. They're good stories as well.
Have you read them then?
I've got a person who, someone I know someone who's read them, and they're just like saying how good, how great they are, and like really complicated storylines and stuff in it as well. Like some really good storylines that they didn't put in the movies. So if you like the movies, you should read the book.
Everyone will fucking tell you that about their favourite book, though.
They are kids'
it's
books.
very complicated. The storylines are so intricate. And then you read it, and it's like fucking...
Well, they are kids' books, by the way. But
yeah, exactly. So don't trust anyone who says that
books.
about a kids' book, man. Unless it's like a classic kids' book or something.
She's just saying how great the things were. Oh, well, whatever.
Because it does happen, though, with adaptation, though.
Something...
Sorry.
No, carry on.
No, I was just saying, you're talking about like people talking about the books and saying how it's this and that adaptation wise, but recently I bought my wife the Silver Linings Playbook novel, and she wanted to watch the film again then after that, so we're watching it, and every scene it'll be like, that doesn't happen in the book, and this doesn't happen in the book, and this is very different, and the characters are very different, and it is really interesting to see the differences, but it just means I'm gonna have to pick up the book now and give that a go. But I do want to do that with the Dragon books as well. So
cool.
Got to find time to read.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is a gaming podcast though, so I don't know about having time to read.
That's true.
But that'll do. Do you know what though? Next time we podcast, I would have seen Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'll have to do some sort of. I'd like to do some sort of just Guardians of the Galaxy cast or something.
Yeah, man. I'm down for that.
See it and then. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
I guess that leaves me with what I've been doing then, which is going to be fun because I played some Final Fantasy X. Johnny already spoke about that though, so we ain't going to talk about that. I played Resident Evil 6 again. Have I mentioned that to anyone yet? Have I mentioned it on the podcast at all? Guess what? I didn't hate it this time. Shocking.
Why?
How much?
Who is this guy?
Happening? This keeps happening to me. Final Fantasy 13, right? I played, I hated, and then a year later I came back to it, played it, really enjoyed it. Resident Evil 6, I played about half of the Leon campaign when it came out, and then I was like, nope, like this game's shit. Like put it down, went away from it, and then I just picked it up again, started playing the Jake Mueller campaign, and fucking love it. Like I finished that campaign, and now I'm halfway through Chris's campaign. I'm really enjoying myself, man. Like, I don't know whether it's the fact that I got it for a $5, like, is the reason that I'm liking it so much, but I don't hate it anymore, man.
Just maybe like the hype train for it just ruined it.
Yeah, I think it's everything to do with that. I think I got hyped up for the game thinking it was going to be something that it wasn't, and then I had the initial disappointment of it, and like, oh, you know, this is shit, this isn't what I wanted and stuff. And then I've come back to it knowing what it is. So I feel like I can enjoy it for what it actually is, and I have been enjoying it. It's pretty damn fun.
It's a good shit game, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. It is a good shit game. I'm a complete advocate of Resident Evil 6 now. If you can get it for about $5, it is a good shit game. It can go into that category. I played the front mission, whatever evolved on Xbox 360 back in the day. Everyone said that was shit, and I fucking loved it. That's a good shit game, man.
I've got a good shit game.
What's your good shit game?
Amazing Spider-Man. That's my good shit game.
There you go, man. Some games are good but shit. It's fine. You can have good shit games, man. I like it. I finished The Wolf Among Us the other day. I played the final episode. I say I finished it. I got all the way through the episode. I was fucking loving it. I was on the edge of my seat. Everything was coming together, and like there was like crazy action and shit. I was coming all over the place. And then I got right to the end, and everything culminated in like this one scene. And I finished that scene, and I was like, holy shit, that just pretty much tied together everything through all the episodes. And suddenly choices that I was making in episode 1, 2, and 3, they were all like playing out now. Like in the final episode, like it was going back and it was saying, well, you did this back then and stuff. And it was all reflecting on how I played the game. And I was super into it. And I was like, I feel like I've done everything right. Like, everything went in my favor and stuff. And then, like, the big climactic bit happened at the end. And I was like, oh, that game was amazing. I was thinking to myself, that's so fucking good. I can't wait to see, like, the last little conclusion bit before the credits. This is what I was waiting to appear. And then the game fucking bugged out and kicked me back to the beginning. The episode started again after the screen went blank, just with loads of graphical glitches. So I didn't even get to see the ending.
Are you sure that wasn't supposed to happen? Though?
No, it wasn't supposed to happen. It was a bug. The game bugged out.
Did you not have to Did you have to plug your controller into port 2 or something?
Oh, I couldn't believe it, man.
Did you take it out and blow on the cartridge?
I haven't played it again since, so I haven't seen the final 2 minutes of The Wolf Among Us episode 5.
This is good because now you can't ruin it for me and Jamie when we eventually get round to playing it.
Yes,
it's my next game actually.
Seriously,
yes.
Despite that glitch, despite that really pissing me off, that game series is amazing. I would even say that I enjoyed it more than Walking Dead Series 1, and what I've played of Series 2 so far. I rate it higher than the Walking Dead games. Just, I don't know whether it's the universe gelling better with me, but I had way more fun playing in that universe and dealing with those characters than I did playing in the Walking Dead game universe. Not to say that the Walking Dead universe is bad, because I'm super hyped and I can't wait to finish season 2, but I just enjoyed Wolf Among Us more.
Do you read Fables?
I've got the first issue of the graphic novel, but
do you even Fables, bro?
Yeah, I read the first issue of the graphic novel, but it was they only had the first issue in the bookstore I was at, and the 16th and 17th.
Oh, so as you do, yeah.
Yeah, otherwise I may have bought a few of them, but I mean, it seems like a really promising premise, man, and it's a story that I do want to visit again. So I think I will probably end up picking up a few of the graphic novels throughout the year, because I can't help but feel that there definitely will be a second season of The Wolf Among Us, because it's been really well received by everyone, and I believe the sales, if they're not as good as The Walking Dead, they're close to it. So,
what I also need to stop doing with games like this is watching gamer poops of them before I actually play the game, because then it just kind of ruins the game for me. I should finish a game and then watch the gamer poop for it.
Oh man, good times.
I just remembered something I was going to talk about that I totally forgot, which never happens.
Talk about it now, because I was about to fall into fucking what anime I've been watching. Nobody wants to hear that, so let's. You can tell me now, Jenny. Tell me.
Right. Okay. Well, I was watching Indie Game the movie, and have any of you guys watched it?
I haven't.
I have watched it. I loved it.
Right. Yeah. How good is that? Like, as an insight to the indie developers, and how like some of the stuff they were coming out with, how they said, I think the question was asked, would you ever work for, if EA offered you a job, would you ever take it? And they're like, no, which proves that there are some people out there that it isn't all about the money. And I think what I loved about it was about some 3 of favorite games back in 2010, 11-ish, when they were released. So we're talking about Braid, Super Meat Boy, and Fez. And it got me wanting to play the games again. And I was really disappointed that the only one I could play on my PlayStation is Fez. Oh no, I suppose Limbo's on there somewhere.
How bad does that film? How bad did that make you feel about Phil Fish?
I know. It totally makes me understand now why he fucking hates everybody. Because the internet is just full of dickheads.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
This is what I was saying when the whole Phil Fish fiasco thing happened a while back. Everyone was like, "Oh, I watched Indie Game the movie, and you were a cunt." I was like, "No, he fucking wasn't. I watched the same film. I felt for the guy. What are you doing?"
Yeah, like I mean, all right. I suppose there is some etiquette he could probably learn from, but I see where he's coming from. Like, people were, complaining about a game that hasn't even been released. And he said, "This is crazy." It's taken 4 years and people are excited for it and stuff, but there's people that genuinely bashing a game that hasn't even come out yet. So no wonder why he pulled the plug on Fez 2. It's just that you sort of get that insight for the stresses they've got and how to, I don't know. It's just a really interesting piece of film.
I need to watch it.
You really do, man. I recommend it to anyone who's into games.
I have Netflix, so
okay. It's on Steam, isn't it? I think.
Probably.
I think you can watch it on Steam. I can't remember. I'll check it out anyway.
But and that made me want to play Fez again. I played it on the Vita, and I forgot just how much of a beautiful game it is, and I actually appreciated it a lot more as well, knowing there was that one bit where he was saying about, I don't want to go into too much detail, but how he was saying how he got a bit anal about certain aspects, and because he didn't want it to look like all cut and paste, he would go back and change some of the shapes so it didn't look too perfect, or like a straight line would be a T shape or something. And then as I was playing through again, I sort of noticed it a bit more. So.
That's cool.
Damn it, man! You mentioned Braid there. I can't wait for his sequel, The Witness.
Do you know?
It's I remember playing Myst when I was a kid at school, and those PCs weren't meant to run that sort of stuff anyway. But let's get it on PS4, man. Can't wait for that.
It's a find game sort of thing.
It's like a puzzle walk around, investigations.
There was one thing that did make me disappointed. Was I really wanted to play Super Meat Boy again, and I thought, is it? I thought, if I had it on my Xbox, and I really wanted to play it on the Vita, so I went and had a look, and I couldn't find it on the store. Then realised that Sony didn't like the game, or weren't impressed with it, and so they didn't buy it. And now the contract that they've got with Microsoft means it will never come to a Sony console. Whether that changes in the future, I'll never know.
But that's back in the time when Sony were fucking retards, man. That's around the same time when Sony were like, originally when they were like, Demon Souls, that's shit. The West ain't ever gonna want that game. Then it
was so out of touch.
And then another publisher was like, all right, well fuck you, we'll publish it, and then it became massive. So
so that was a bit disappointing. But could you imagine? And there was something else that came to mind. I got a bit carried away and thought it's never going to happen. But could you imagine playing Castle Crashers on your Vita with your friends?
That'd be amazing.
That would be really good.
That just sounds like the ultimate experience. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. I don't want to take it.
That's fine. That's fine. It's been a long time. It's been a month. Catching up. It's all good. We can move on to our big topics of the day, though, if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? All right, yeah. we're about halfway through the gaming calendar this year right now, right? And we spoke about Game of the Year predictions. We've been speaking about them all the time. It's one of those topics that you just, in the industry, you just always talk about it because everyone wants to know what it's going to be. And we gave some predictions as to what we thought the Game of the Year was going to be. Mine was fucking shocking. I didn't even remember what my prediction was until Jamie told me just before we started recording, and that fucking blew up in my face. I wish I'd have picked Peggle.
What was it?
Before it released, I picked Watch Dogs. I thought that was going to be Game of the Year. From everything that I'd seen about it, I was like, yeah, that seems like it's the perfect type of game to hit Game of the Year. I was wrong.
If you could reevaluate now, then Ben, what do you think it would be now?
What do I think it's going to be now? Well, I can't actually say because like the most fun I've had in a game this year is The Wolf Among Us, but I don't feel like that's the kind of game that could get the Game of the Year.
Didn't Walking Dead get Game of the Year?
Yeah, but the major review outlets and stuff don't agree with me. They feel that The Walking Dead is better than The Wolf Among Us.
Okay.
Whereas I'm the opposite. I think The Wolf Among Us is better than The Walking Dead. So that ain't gonna happen. From what I hear you guys saying about Destiny and from what I've seen in the trailers and the sort of dev diaries and stuff for it, that game looks really strong, man. And Dragon Age, although I don't think Dragon Age is the kind of game that could get Game of the Year again, like that could well be my Game of the Year. So,
so has pumped full of money from you don't think really.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that makes sense. that trailing off random sentence there. Jenny, are you okay? Are you alive?
No.
No?
No.
Just said because Skype decided not to let you say it.
It's probably a good thing. We'll move on.
But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and say that probably Destiny will be the overall Game of the Year from like review sites and stuff. But me personally, it's going to be a toss-up between... Lol. It's going to be a toss-up between probably Dragon Age, Inquisition, and maybe Hyrule Warriors, because I'm super hyped for that as well. So, what about you, Jay? What was your original prediction?
My original prediction was Destiny.
And you probably have to change that, are you, now that you've played Destiny?
Well, the thing is, like, yeah, if I pick a retail release, then I see Destiny being Game of the Year. But already we're halfway through the year, and if I had to pick my 3 top games so far this year, and like let's say we cut the year off right now, my top 3 games so far this year are all download games.
So Child of Light, Valiant Hearts.
Yeah, I mean, I would put Transistor as my number 1 game for the year so far.
Awesome.
And yeah, you're right with the other 2. They'd be in there as well. Just all with brilliant stories, all with brilliant style, all very different. All just showing that you don't need the full retail release to give your story and tell it. Beautiful.
I'm a bit surprised that Mario Kart hasn't been mentioned from your mouth.
Right. Yeah. If we expand the list to a top 5, I'd imagine it's Mario Kart next. But I kind of do surprise myself by thinking that 3 download games have been the top 3 this year for me. But I'm chuffed as well because Transistor's just on another level. It really is. Like the soundtrack, I still put that on when I walk to work. Like most days, that's my jams, man.
Man, I really have to play it at some point, man.
Me too.
I've been putting it off. And literally, well, I guess you guys haven't played it, but a lot of the other people that I chat to and stuff have played it and have been playing it whilst I've been on Skype with them and stuff. And I can hear like the awe in their voice as they're playing it. Like they love it that much. I don't know why I haven't played it yet. Why do I never play these games?
Because you just don't listen. You just
That's
wank off onto little minifigs of...
You're playing Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah. But for something like Destiny to still be my personal game of the year, I think that's reliant on how much time is spent playing multiplayer campaign. We'll see. I mean, obviously the game could end up being shit, but I doubt it.
Okay, but commercially then, what would be your like commercial prediction for game of the year?
I think Destiny will win it.
Yeah? Cool. Yeah. All right, Johnny, what about you, man? We were talking about this earlier. We don't remember what you guys predicted before for your game of the years, so you can just lie through your fucking teeth now if you want, and we'll believe you.
Yeah, I can't remember. I might have said Watch Dogs. solid thing. Basically, yeah, but I'm gonna go with Destiny for my personal and for what I think it will be. And I'm actually really shocked because like I said before, I didn't think it'd be that great. I just thought this was like Borderlands 2, kind of like just what's so special about it. I thought. But then after having played in the beta like these last couple of days, and I really am, blown back by how good it is, how fun it is, and I think that's going to be one that I'll be playing a lot of, and
Awesome.
to play with you guys as well. That would be really cool. We'll all be on there playing, and I think that Game of the year. I can easily see that being Game of the year.
Sweet, Johnny man, talk to me. What was your original prediction? Do you remember?
Yeah, I have a funny feeling I went with Nintendo because I went through that sort of I feel sorry for Nintendo, so let's stick up for them sort of phase.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was either Mario Kart or Smash Brothers, but I think Jamie's got a point on the indie games, not indie games, on the download games. I think Valiant Hearts is, again, traditionally you probably would argue that it isn't the sort of game that would win it, but I don't see why not. Just because it doesn't have the big old budgets and it's not going to sell hundreds of millions of copies, even though it probably should. I was so impressed with it that I can't think of a bad word to say about it. I honestly can't. So for me, at this point in time, it is Valiant Hearts, and it would have to take something quite impressive to change that.
So that's your current game of the year, yeah, that you think is going to be. Well, what about from like a commercial standpoint? What do you think will be commercially the game of the year? What will all the review sites be saying this is game of the year?
Oh, Jesus, you could take a pick of whatever drosh it could be. Yeah, I suppose at the moment it's looking like Destiny's going to get it regardless of how it's received, or what it's like when it comes out. I don't know, I'm a little bit reluctant to say because I'm going to be honest, I was really disappointed with Battlefield. Like, really disappointed.
Battlefield 4, yeah?
Yeah, I had high hopes for that, and that's why I'm trying not to get into the hype with Destiny. I avoided the beta, and I'm not going to play it till it comes out, or if there's like a, small demo towards nearer the time. But yeah, I don't know. I think we've got to be a little bit more original about this. Like that's the one that everybody is gushing over at the moment. But what tends to happen with those games is they end up like Call of Duty or FIFA or Assassin's Creed, and they just
True. But the difference in this scenario is that Bungie is making Destiny, man, and Bungie have never steered me wrong before, so I'm more inclined to trust them. Yeah, well, can you name a game that Bungie's made that wasn't good?
I could name you.
He's going to say I could name you a fucking series of games.
I could name you a series that got stale very quickly.
Oh man, Halo 3 is the best.
Halo 3 is the best, but
ODST was equally as good, and Halo Reach was also really good.
No, it was a copy and paste. They were copy and pastes with very slight changes, which I don't know. I didn't get on with them as well. That's a different story. I'm not gonna sit here and slate those games because even though I didn't really get them, it didn't have the same pull as Halo 3, for example. So as far as I'm concerned, they're sort of wiped off. If that makes sense, it's almost like I can't remember there's a comparison, but it's almost like when you have such a great game, even though the slight improvements to me they're not big enough to make it better than the previous iteration, it'd have to like be something quite flawed in the original one. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I guess, but then it comes down to the same thing again, where like they can't change it that much, otherwise it won't be that game anymore. Like if they'd have changed it up too much, people would have complained saying, "Oh, this isn't Halo."
Well,
so they made slight refinements, and I think they made it better each time, man, with their refinements.
My answer to that is don't release a game on a franchise so regularly then. And I'd probably be more willing to accept how good the newer games are. But if you're just going to copy and paste on an annual basis, or biannual basis, for example, and not change a great deal, I'm not really going to be that excited for it.
Fair play, man. That's fair enough.
But no, Destiny will probably take it. But I really hope something else does. That isn't Call of Duty or FIFA or Assassin's Creed or whatever, or Last of Us HD remix.
That would be crazy if that did take it 2 years. All right, so we're kind of unanimous then. Like unanimously, we think that it probably will be Destiny then at the moment where we are.
Yeah, and I think the majority of us will want it to be as well, like our game. But
sure, I mean, like, because obviously everyone will have their own individual game of the year, but like, so we're saying it's probably going to be Destiny at this point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's locked in, man. That's locked in. We'll see if it happens. Let's talk about some other crap, man, because crap's always fun to talk about. Neversoft. Let's talk about Neversoft and their fallen. I can't think of a word to describe them. I don't really give a fuck about them. Jamie, talk to me about Neversoft. You give a shit.
This is just this is fluff. This is a bit of like filler. But no, basically, then I'm sad to see Neversoft as a name go. But it is just literally a fold, and they're now working within the Infinity Ward umbrella, aren't they? They're there now. But I did see that they set fire to their giant eyeball thing. That was quite sad. It does upset me because some of the great games of my youth, namely the Tony Hawk ones, and also some of the early. They did the Spider-Man PlayStation 1 game as well back in 2000. But some of those games were just very important to my youth, and I'm sure some of yours as well, if not all of yours.
Tony Hawk's.
I mean, I was going to say the same. Tony Hawk's 1 to start it all off, and then 2 was probably the most popular out of the series. Most people
3 was. Yeah. 3 was 3 really got me into it.
Looking into it, I mean, they haven't really wowed since Tony Hawk's 2 or 3. I mean, they
PS2 was their heyday, wasn't it? And then beyond that, they just sort of fell apart, I thought.
Neversoft kind of got screwed, right? Because they became a Guitar Hero developer, didn't they? For a long time. They were just stuck making Guitar Hero games.
They picked up Guitar Hero 3, and that was it. From that point on, they were just the Guitar Hero go-tos.
Yeah, so you mean they bought a popular franchise and milked that with various iterations that... I'm on Wikipedia now. They released Aerosmith and World Tour in 2008, Metallica and Guitar Hero 5 and Band Hero in 2009, and then Warriors of Rock in 2010. I mean, that's some serious milking of a franchise. So,
well, that's why that franchise is dead, obviously.
Yeah.
And even Tony Hawk's. I mean, I'd argue actually what you were saying there, Johnny. I think the PlayStation 1 ones were the best ones. Then the PlayStation 2 just carried on that momentum a little bit with better graphics, and then they started getting a bit ridiculous after 4, I think it was.
And it's Underground.
Is it? Yeah.
1 to 4, Underground 2. American Wasteland was good fun.
Wasn't that an easy?
The graphics got a bit sloppy again though for that one. Like visually, it kind of lost the level.
I think Skate killed it as well because Skate was such a great skateboarding game.
Yeah.
And just Tony Hawk's couldn't compete then. Like just going back to that, I felt really,
Project 8 was the first game I picked up with my 360.
So
and I was quite impressed with the jump. But then once Skate was out, you're just like, fuck this.
Yep. This is how it should be.
How much do you guys think the generally mixed reviews of Call of Duty Ghosts were like a factor in the studio being folding? Because they made that, didn't they? And I think that was their first sort of commercial Call of Duty game that they made for Activision.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Do you wonder if maybe if it had been a bit more popular, they would have been able to branch and have another studio, therefore making another Call of Duty, and then you'd even have more time. Because at the moment, what are they now? 3 studios working on a different Call of Duty game for every year?
Something like that. You got Sledgehammer, you got Infinity Ward, and there's another studio that I can't think of. Who are the guys that make Black Ops?
I want to say Treyarch.
Treyarch, that's it.
That's it.
And Treyarch are the new fucking kings of Call of Duty because Black Ops 2 was supposedly really good. So
they got their game, yeah. But I mean, do you think that might have been what happened? But maybe now they've just like pick and choose their best bits from that, from seeing Call of Duty Ghosts. Go, well, these parts of it are good, these parts are bad. So let's
let's get ready to fire a few people and keep a few inside us.
You got to wonder if this was like not just on the cards for a long time, because Infinity Ward, that was just, it was like a shell of a studio, right? They lost their core a few years back with the whole fallout that happened after Modern Warfare 2, I believe, or was it 3? Modern Warfare 2, because 3 was made after it. Yeah. So Modern Warfare 3 was made by Infinity Ward, but it was also said to have like had other studios working on it as well. So you got to think maybe Neversoft were also working on that as well. I don't know if they're actually involved, but maybe this was always planned, man, that those studios were going to merge together. Because 4 studios working on Call of Duty games seems a bit excessive.
Are they going to be?
You don't need 4 years to make a game, do you? It's just some sort of idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you might need 4 years to make a game. How long does a Red Dead game take? Like 5-6 years, I don't know.
Yeah, I think 4 is the normal time, is it?
But you're doing an FPS, you know, so it's not the end.
Yeah. I suppose it's
not rocket science.
Are they going to be? I probably say no. If you have a look at the games they've released in the past 10 years, it's I don't think. No, I think they're one of these other. They were a studio that just could not keep up with the time. It's a bit like Sega in a way. They were great in one era, but they just couldn't translate it in the next.
In one era.
An age. Yeah.
Sorry.
So no, I don't think. I mean, I'll miss the iconic Neversoft logo when you booted up an old Tony Hawk's game. That was always quite cool. But apart from that, I really don't think they're going to be missed as much as brutal as that sounds. They really haven't.
Yeah, I genuinely feel bad for anybody who lost their job in this whole merger, but I never played any of their games, and I do not care because it doesn't affect me at all. So,
wow.
Yeah, harsh as that is to say.
You gotta be like that, man.
Oh well, Jamie, talk to me about this new fucking piracy and torrenting policy.
I think this might be early days, and when I say early days, we're recording this now, so it's breaking news, but it might be all over the internet in 5 days when you get the podcast. But let's have a look. Right, so new UK policies around piracy and torrenting. So before you'd have got your slap on the wrist, your criminal records, your fines or whatever. There's a new way that they want to look at this now, and this is the government in the UK teaming up with a lot of internet providers. So Sky are on board, BT, Virgin, TalkTalk, among some other film production companies, and they're looking at just promoting a warning letter going out to people, showing the consequences of what they're doing. Not only that, but it would show you how to access the content at competitive pricing and like where it's available. So if you're pirating movies, they're going to send you a link. It's going to be almost like hot UK deals coming to a house in letter form from the government. But they're going to do that up to 4 times a year. And then I wonder where the action goes after that. But
it doesn't. It doesn't go anywhere. Yeah, that's
exactly.
what they said. Like they're not going to do anything further. So it's just sort of, don't do that. No, stop it. Just stop it, please.
Is there seriously no longer any
there is
criminal things that they can bring on you if they bring this into effect?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but for what? I mean, it sounds like they're missing the point as to how are people getting these illegal torrents or downloads or whatever.
Well, they already tried, didn't they? Like a lot of service providers have blocked out Pirate Bay from their things. You can't go on it unless you use proxies. But I think they learned very quickly that they're never going to block all of those proxies and they're not going to stop people. So maybe this is just a natural progression of that. Like, oh, well, that didn't work. Maybe we'll try something else to annoy them.
It's like if people built the internet, people will break the internet, man.
Look, all I'm saying is if they can track down that you've downloaded it, then they'll be able to track down who you downloaded it from. So I don't believe that for a second that they can't. They're targeting the wrong people. It's a bit like, without going too much of a tangent, it's a bit like the drug trade. There's no point in. No.
Yeah, Mexican cartel coming out. His roots.
There's no point in going for the small-time stoner who's got a couple of grams of weed in his pocket.
Johnny,
because you're better off going for the drug lord and tackling it at its source. Otherwise, you're never going to solve beating up somebody who can't really afford to pay the fine anyway.
Yeah.
Johnny doesn't have airbags in his car. If he crashes it, just bags of coke come out.
Yeah.
So he keeps it
That's a
all.
white powder.
Is the best way.
You know,
No,
spoken like a true drug lord.
That's really strange. That seems really counterproductive because I thought people were making a really strong stand against piracy at the moment, companies especially, and this seems like the complete opposite of that. Like you're taking the court system completely out of the equation. So essentially,
I think because
or
you can't
you're
take
one
everyone to
step
court.
away. You're one step away from legalizing piracy at this point. Then.
Yeah, but I think because absolutely everyone does it, I think you can't just fine everybody or lock up everybody. I think it's quite difficult to do. I think they're just trying to there are alternatives. I think you're never going to get rid of piracy. You're never
One
get rid
thing
of
they're
drugs.
saying on there is they said on there that they find that a lot of the time when people are pirating stuff, it's because they can't find access to it legally or something. So they're trying to show them the way to get access to it legally.
Well, I've also read that pirates are more likely to buy content, rather than people who don't engage with that sort of stuff at all. So,
well, no, because that's totally true.
Some people buy stuff, some people don't.
I torrent shit all the time, right? I probably shouldn't admit that on an internet podcast, but that's fine, right? But then I also buy a lot of stuff as well, If you're a company that I like and I want to support you, I definitely won't pirate your products. I will buy your products because I want to support you,
Yeah.
No, there's a simple thing for this. And I think Jay hit the nail on the head about this stuff about it not being available, right? So, for example, take Adventure Time. The only way I can legally watch that over here, apart from on Cartoon Network, is they've got Series 1 on Netflix. Yeah, I can stream all 5 series or 6 series, however many it is. Right? I would happily pay for that if I can. In fact, I am paying for it indirectly, but I've only got 1 season. So what am I going to do? Right? I really want to watch it. I want to give them the money. They're not providing it to me, so I'm going to go in and watch it online. But the other thing, on the other end of the scale, if it wasn't for piracy, I wouldn't actually be a gamer because most of my Commodore 64 games were copies.
Yeah, shout out to that. Same here, man. I had an Amiga 500. Almost all of my games were copies, but that made me a gamer, man. I've spent countless thousands and thousands on games over.
Oh, we all have.
So,
yeah. But again, there's no reason why in the modern day I'll take Valiant Hearts. I didn't want to spend the £12 on it because I had no idea what it was about. And YouTubing doesn't really give you that same thing. Why is there no demo? We're in a modern day society now. They can do that. It's all closed system on the PlayStation 4, for sake of argument. They can do that. There are loads of outlets that they can put some of these things on and give you a trial, or if it's a film or something, give you an extended 3-minute trailer of the best parts of the film. So maybe not 3 minutes, but
the best parts of the film.
No, maybe not the best part, but do you know what I mean? They've just got to be more creative about how they can interact with it. It's very simple. It's marketing, right? Gives people something. I mean, the App Store proves it. You give somebody a little bit for free, and they'll be stupid enough to pay for it, even if they probably didn't like it in the first place.
I mean, let me change. Have you ever pirated a game yourself?
No.
Right. I've pirated one game that I couldn't. And even then, I don't really think it was that bad. It was Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. I pirated it for my PSP, and it wasn't out here at that point, so it wasn't available in England. I played it through in Japanese, and then I bought the game in English, and I bought the fucking Crisis Core PSP bundle as well when it came out. So I feel like that kind of validates the fact that I pirated it before,
Yeah, but with your issue then, that's something similar with when I was talking about Fargo on television. If it was readily available across the world at the same time, you wouldn't have had to have done that. You would have purchased it straight away. It's like when I wanted to watch Fargo, it's on almost a week later over here. I have access to that. It's on Channel 4. Why the fuck do I have to wait a week and watch everybody spoil it? I can't go on all the social media sites for that week then because it'll just get spoiled for me. If stuff's available at the same time, then you're less likely to pirate as well.
Mm-hmm. There you go, man. I think we're hitting the crux of the problem, man, and to an extent they're right. It is availability, but it's not pricing availability that they're thinking about. It's just general availability, in areas of the world. If America has a load of shows available that we don't have over here, and the only way for us to get it is to illegally stream it or to torrent like seasons of it, then what are we going to do, man? Like, it's not like we can go out and buy the box sets because they're just not available here yet.
Right, here's something for you. If there was a Spotify version for films, right, so you paid a yearly or monthly subscription and you can watch all the latest films like that are coming to the cinema, that you can watch, I don't know, once or maybe once over a certain period, would you do it?
Yeah, that's definitely a service that I would sign up for.
I imagine most people would, right? But this is where it all boils down to, is the cinema makes so much money. They make not the actual individual theaters, but the production companies of the films make so much money by this staggered approach that they can't complain if people are going to start pirating their stuff if they're not going to make it available to everybody when in the modern age.
Yeah,
I mean, the cinema has its place. I mean, it's a great event. You know, you get excited for a film, you buy popcorn, whatever. But you don't want to do that for every single film. There's some films that I would not be bothered to go to the cinema for. Like, I don't know, something like Borat. I don't think I really give a shit if it's in.
I went to see Borat at the cinema and fucking loved it. So
did I.
I can't agree with you there.
My point is, you don't have to have the best sound quality, or you don't have to have the cinema experience to watch every single film.
Mm-hmm.
So why
with Blu-ray at home now, you're getting steps closer, aren't you?
Yeah, and the price of a ticket.
I get your point, though. Yeah.
Yeah, the price of a ticket nowadays is what, 12? Well, probably more than that. I'm not sure. It was £12 I got on one of my ticket stubs.
You could get luxury.
Sharp. Even if it's £8, that's still the price of a DVD. You know, so it's a false economy, and they've brought it upon themselves. If they don't want to come into the modern day, then they're just going to fall behind, and that's exactly what's happening.
But yeah, I get your point. I've booked my tickets for Guardians of the Galaxy. I've paid £30 to go see that in 3D. That's going to be an experience for me, and I love the cinema. But a couple of weeks before that, I saw the new Jon Favreau film, Chef. Now, if I'd have had an option to watch that at home for a slightly reduced price, I probably would have just done that, to be honest. Because some films, you're right, you don't need the cinema for. But something like Guardians of the Galaxy, I will watch for the big damn explosion, everything on the big screen. And then, do you know what? If you told me we'd start releasing these things, synchronized across the board, it will come out at the cinema to rent and on Blu-ray the same day, I'd probably, with something like Guardians of the Galaxy, I'd probably go watch it on the big screen, come away happy, and buy the Blu-ray straight away afterwards as well, because it's an experience for me. That's a big thing.
Even if you did have, say, a Spotify version, what's to say then they could still easily stagger it if they wanted to make people to go to the cinema on the first week or maybe the first month, or maybe not a month, but maybe the first month, whatever. You know, they could still do that. So if you were a die-hard fan, you'd go and buy. You'd buy. It's almost like pre-ordering a game. You'd go early. You'd go and watch it, get the full experience, which is the limited edition box, as it were, and then everyone else can watch it online if they want for a nominal fee. Yeah. It's not that difficult of a concept.
There's a lot of red tape. I wouldn't go into too much detail, but when Up came out in cinemas, Disney wanted to release the DVD and Blu-ray less than 3 months after it had been released in cinemas. And because the cinemas were worried that people wouldn't come and watch the film with them, they were willing to boycott the Christmas Carol film, the Jim Carrey one that was coming out from Disney later in the year for Christmas. Yeah. They were ready to boycott that film if Disney went ahead and broke that 3-month barrier. And so they pushed the date back a little bit so that they got it on at the cinema. So you have to watch it. So it works all the way around.
It's a fucked up system, man.
Yeah, there's got to be some level ground. There's got to be some way to sort it out.
We're definitely not going to think of it. Not today, anyway.
Change.
Okay. Jesus, guys, we've been going for like an hour or so already. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm gonna roll up everything we've got left into Flash News, right? And then we can talk about it if we want to, or if we don't, we'll just breeze past it. Yeah.
That's cool.
Cool. So we've got the GTA 5 complete edition for like PS4 and Xbox One. The release date has been leaked. It's November 14th.
Oh, really?
It's only because you guys were talking about it in the one-on-one last week. I just thought I'd look at the leaked info that came out. Yeah.
Yeah, sweet.
So that's the first day. Is it a day one purchase for you guys?
It is for me because I haven't played it yet.
It definitely is for me.
I'm unsure. Anyway, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, we'll see.
Only Jamie would have added this to the running order. Sting for WWE 2K15.
It's important to wrestling fans, and I might add that I do enjoy playing the video games and sorting out campaigns and making my own rosters and stuff. And Sting in WWE is a big deal if people are into that sort of thing. So that's been announced this week. Brilliant.
It's not quite the same as Fred Durst, though, is it?
What?
Let's move on. I'm not even going to address it.
We were speaking of dress.
Wait, hold on, Janny. No, I am going to fucking address it. Are you thinking of Sting the musician, you prick? You are, aren't you? I'm just going to move on. Fuck you guys, man.
Is this where he disconnects now on purpose?
I'm just moving on. I'm going. There's been a lot of this shit going on at Marvel recently, actually. They just announced a female Thor is going to be taking over as like the mainstay Thor for the universe.
In the comic strips, right?
Yeah.
In the comic verse, yeah.
But I mean, like, a lot of stuff from the comics has been spewing over into the cinematic universe as well. The other announcement that was made recently at Marvel, I think is way more likely to spill over into the comic universe, is the fact that I can't remember the character's name, but the Falcon is going to be taking over as Captain America.
Yeah. That's yeah. But they talk about that in the cinema universe as well, so that's something that could happen there. But I think all this is leading towards Marvel wanting to have a female-led film. So I think they're building all this sort of stuff now. Do you see also Lucy Lawless has been confirmed for S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2. She's going to be an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. now.
Lucy Lawless, Xena, yeah?
Yeah. She's going to be an agent in the second season.
That's kind of cool. I'm actually really excited for the second season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., especially after the way the first season ended. Good times. The writers from X-Men First Class are making a Power Rangers movie, or they're writing a Power Rangers movie.
You know that's coming about, right?
Yeah, I know it's a thing. It's Legendary, right? Are working on it.
Yeah, one of the writers on Spider-Man 2. Well, there were actually two of them, and then they split up recently, and one of them has now gone off to do this Power Rangers movie as well. So there's a lot of big names involved in that now from the writing side of things, but we'll see. Hopefully they come up with a badass script. It ties into the TV series, so I'm hoping that's like the old first generation.
Yeah. Dude, I would totally go and watch a new reimagined Power Rangers, man. If it looks like what they've done with Transformers and what they look to be doing with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'll be fucking all over it. Power Rangers is a cool ass idea. All you need to do is watch any given fucking transformation-based anime to see that it can work.
Yeah.
Don't sigh at me, Jenny. Don't pretend like you...
If I wore glasses, they would be pushed up to my forehead right now.
Tell me you didn't love Power Rangers as a kid.
I didn't fucking like Power Rangers as a kid.
Hold on, I'm just booting you off the call. No, I'm joking, man. I loved it as a kid, man, and I'd love to see what they could do with sort of bringing it up to date and bringing it to like a more family audience, if that makes sense. You know, something that everyone can enjoy, not just kids.
I think they can do it. It's possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, but what are they going to do? Improve the choreography, which kind of, I imagine, brought most of the pull to it because it was so shit.
Yeah, the choreography.
Like
they're gonna have better backflips. Come on,
Power Rangers. Anytime they had all their helmets on, that was the Japanese actors, right?
Yeah.
The only bits that were changed, like they changed for the American version, they changed the bits when they were themselves or they had their helmets off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why there was a massive disconnect between like fighting ability for when they were like suited up and when they weren't. Man.
Yeah.
But hang on, next thing you're going to tell me that Captain Planet should make a return.
He did. It's Don Cheadle, man.
Have you not seen it?
Oh my god.
It's so good.
Fuck you, I'd pay £20 to go watch that.
So would I. Make it happen, movie people.
I'd pay you £20 so I didn't have to watch that.
Okay, so we got another rumor rolling in that Studio Ghibli are gonna cease making feature-length animated films.
Why?
Yeah, well, Miyazaki left, didn't he? He's retired.
Yeah.
And Goro Miyazaki is working on a CGI animated series right now, which is coming out later this year. So could be time for them to step away. They're not making enough money. They're not profitable in cinema releases now.
Are they just going to do shorts or something then?
So I mean, it's a sad day, that they're not making feature-length films anymore. But if they transition to making series, I'd be fine with that.
Well, the first thing is to look after their assets, they've said. So the things that are profitable to them, like the old properties, they'll do that. But for The Wind Rises, it's made 58 million, but that's not profit. That's still got to cover the costs, and they're hardly breaking profit on that. So it's not good. It's not good. But hey, Ni no Kuni, that was a collaboration work, right? They can span off. They can do things. Yeah.
Yeah, they should do more games. I think that would be...
I think they should stick with what they're good at. The Wind Rises is quite a niche thing, isn't it? It's a bit weird, but things like Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, that's what everyone loves about them.
Yeah.
And then they do sort of these weird off the cuff ones, which are a bit not really mainstream enough.
Sometimes they're amazing though, like Grave of the Fireflies, man.
That was a long time ago, wasn't it? That one.
Very old.
And that was and that's not Studio Ghibli, is it? It's like a... Is it still them?
Yeah, it counts. Yeah.
All right.
That's one.
That's a bit different.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, but stuff like that. I think
maybe
they do some weird stuff.
Maybe they should get in bed with Disney, man. Seems to be working for everyone else. I mean, Disney already bring their movies over to America, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and do the voices and stuff. Yeah.
So
maybe.
Who knows, man? All I know is it'll be a very sad day if they actually cease production of everything. They have to, I want to see that animation style and that team carry on, even if it's just in series form, not films and stuff, or shorts even.
Okay.
Whatever. I want to see Ni no Kuni 2 first, and then we'll see.
I'm actually really surprised that we haven't heard anything about Ni no Kuni 2, because that did really well in the West.
Oh, it'd just be like another Lost Odyssey again. Fuck you know.
Cool. All right, then just to sort of carry on from something I mentioned in our one-on-one session last week, Johnny, about the Xbox One doubling its sales since it dropped Connect. The sales figures for the last month actually came out, and the Xbox One still sold less than the PS4. So even after doubling its sales, it's still not selling as the PS4 is.
But that wasn't really saying a lot, though, was it? I mean, they doubled their sales, but their sales were shit.
Yeah.
It's like the Wii U turn around and go, we tripled our sales. Yeah, but, if you're only selling 3 consoles...
3 people bought it now. So. Yeah, it's a bit... Yeah. I don't know, it's neither here nor there.
I think we're going to see a massive paradigm shift when their big exclusives start coming out. So when the Halo titles and stuff start coming.
I agree.
You're going to see that number jump, man.
Yeah, Ben's going to buy one.
I definitely will get one for Halo, actually.
And that's the jump you'll see. Doubled their sales right there.
Cool. And that is everything we've got on our list, guys.
That was a long one today.
We had to, didn't we?
First podcast in a month, man.
Lovely.
Catch up and stuff.
It didn't help me yo-yo in and out.
It's alright, everyone's used to it at this point now. Exactly. That's like your thing, that's your gimmick.
No, it wasn't a gimmick. Now it's coming back.
When's it next week? When are we doing it next week?
It'll be after the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
so later
sometime after Guardians of the Galaxy.
But Janny's away for a few weeks, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back on the 10th, so I should be...
Where are you going? I don't know. Where are you going?
I don't know.
Just outside of Parma, right?
Where are you going?
If anyone wants to stab him, that's where he'll be.
Oh,
man.
Oh, wow. Wow, and on that note, I will say my last goodbye to you guys. It's been emotional.
Don't get stabbed.
Oh, God. All right,
people die when they're dead.
Fuck's sake, dude.
I'm Billy Mays.
I'm finishing this.
And here's a man of gravy stain on his lapel.
We're on Facebook. You can find us there at GSC Games. We're also on Twitter. You can follow us at GSC_games. If you want to get in contact with any of us individually for any reason, our Twitter tags will be down in the description. And
if you want to stab me, I'm going to be in Italy somewhere. So come and find me, bitches.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
That.
You might have just cursed yourself.
Yep.
Whatever. I'm done. Bye, people. Bye.
Bye, people.
I'm out.
Bye.